You can repeat after me the invocation before we read from Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So I chose another verse from chapter 2, which indicates that I changed the verse while hearing the others speak before me. So we are in Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized, text number 66, and this goes as follows. Nasti buddhiya yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shanti ashantasya kuta sukham. And the translation and the purport is by this Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. And the translation. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Purport. Unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the 5th chapter, text 29, that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, and that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. Therefore, one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace. However much he may make a show of peace and spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness is a self-manifested peaceful condition which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurundalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Panchakalpantarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda. Everyone? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada has one disciple, and he's from America, and his family name is Hunter, Hunter, and his name is Sid, C-I-D. So his name is Sid Hunter. So when Srila Prabhupada initiated him, he said, your name is Siddhanta Das. Siddhanta, like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So Srila Prabhupada was arriving in Dallas. And from the airport he came to our Dallas temple. And at the temple he gave an arrival talk. So at the arrival talk, he was appreciating the devotees' attempts and services and so forth. And at the end he asked, do you have any questions? So Siddhanta Prabhu at that time, he brought one friend along to see Srila Prabhupada and meet Srila Prabhupada. So his friend's hand immediately shut up. And usually when we ask this type of question, we ask a question like this: why do you chant Hare Krishna? What is the reasons that you chant Hare Krishna? What are the benefits when you chant Hare Krishna? So this is the kind of general questions that people may ask us. But he asked a question that was quite unique. So he asked Srila Prabhupada, how do you feel when you chant Hare Krishna? Without hesitation, Srila Prabhupada replied, I feel no fear. So in this particular verse that I just read, we see that people are looking for happiness. But this particular verse makes it very clear that one can never be happy if one is first not internally peaceful. Without the basis and foundation of peace, one can never ever be happy materially, and neither can one be happy spiritually, or anything in between. So now, in this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada paraphrases another verse from the 5th chapter, text number 29. And Prabhupada says that Krishna says, Bhaktaram Yagya Tapasa. That when we have a slight, you could say, glimpse of realization in our hearts, that whatever we are doing is for Krishna's enjoyment, is for Krishna's benefit. That means Krishna is the supreme beneficiary of our activities and the results of our activities. So here we find that our Lakshmi Prabhu, where is it? Yes, yes, no? Lakshmi, where's Lakshmi? That's you. Okay. Hare Krishna. Oh, I met you when I walked in, right? Yes, yes. So here we find that our Lakshmi Prabhu, he's and his brothers and his family members, as well as Kadama Muni has his younger brother. Something like that?
Yes.
So we find that, at this Bhakta Ramya gets up a son. That Lakshmi Prabhu and his family members and others connected to him, they worked very hard. They worked very hard. Like Sarvotma, Sarot, and your sister.
My sister.
And name again? Rajaseva. So Sarotama Prabhu and Rajaseva Mataji, they also worked very hard to establish Krishna consciousness in characters. Practically being beggars. Begging. So that's called Tridandi Sannyas. See this plant piece? This cloth is called Tridandi Bhikshu. Please give Tridandi Bhikshu. So I will read another purport by Srila Prabhupada that expresses that our Sarvotama and Brajaseva, they also like sannyasis, but of a higher status. I just use the dress. So sannyasi must be also internally in consciousness as a sannyasi. So, Bhakta Ramya Tapasa. In other words, when one first has a glimpse of a realization that all our activities and the results of activities are for Krishna's pleasure and for Krishna as the beneficiary and for his enjoyment, then one will do accordingly, act like that. So I was very pleased and very happy to hear that our Lakshmi Prabhu did significant service for the pleasure of Shri Radha Gopinath by wonderfully extending the temple room there. This was a few years ago, right? It was a good time. Some years ago? Yeah. And as Kadama Muni was saying, he, by his kindness, by his, you could say, pure consciousness of service, that so much kirtan can happen, and immediately when Kadama Muni came to the temple and saw the kirtan, he was in ecstasy. So Bhaktaram Yagya Tapasa. So when one recognizes that we are doing everything for Radha Gopinath's pleasure, then one immediately, you could say in one sense, allows oneself to enter into another consciousness, where one, you could say, immediately realizes that Sarva Loke Maheshwara, that Krishna is owning everything. Krishna owns my intelligence, Krishna owns my life, Krishna owns my business, Krishna owns my influence, Krishna owns my power, Krishna owns my failures, Krishna owns my successes. Krishna, my sorrows belong to Krishna, my stress belongs to Krishna, my depression belongs to Krishna. Then comes Suridam Sarva Bhutana. Then one fully realizes that Krishna is my principal well-wisher and best friend. Surit, best friend. And those who are connected to Krishna, that means the devotees of Krishna. Those who are connected to Krishna, the devotees of Krishna. They are also my surit. They are also my best well-wishers. Because they will never exploit and abuse me. Because the material world is mutual exploitation and abuse. That's what you just get. See? And when that happens, when one fully realizes that Krishna is my best well-wisher and my ultimate friend, and those who are connected to Krishna are my best well-wishers and friends, then Gyatva Mam Shanti Parichiti. Then one feels peaceful. One feels peaceful. From that foundation or platform of peace, one can build upon genuine or happiness in substance eternally. Otherwise it's not going to happen. So when Srila Prabhupada said, answered this question to this devotee, at least to this devotee's friend in Dallas, how do you feel when you chant Hare Krishna? What did Srila Prabhupada say? What did he say? I feel no fear. So fear comes because one is not internally peaceful. So even this fear, people still want to be happy. But you can only be happy in the material world by looking for happiness. That's the only happiness. The only happiness in the material world is looking forward to enjoy. The actual act of so-called enjoyment and happiness is not there. It's not there. It is just that illusion, just that Maya. I think I will enjoy with him, with her, with this spot, with this music, with this type of food, in this location, my home. I'm looking forward. That's all. That's all. And when you achieve what you're looking forward to enjoy, the actual act of it is very short-lived. It's very short. And you get disappointed. Completely disappointed. So therefore, if one wants real peace internally, one should be fearless. And how to be fearless? Bhaja Purnamana Shri Nandana Abhaya Charanara Abhaya Charanara. So when one places oneself at the lotus feet of Nandana or Yasoda Nandana, you remember Yasoda Krishna? Kadama? Yes. So one places oneself at the lotus feet of Yasoda Nandana, that personality who is the, Yasoda beloved, the darling of Mother Yasoda. One places oneself at the lotus feet of Krishna, because Krishna is Abhaya, Charana. His lotus feet are the shelter of all persons who want to be fearless. And that only way to do that is to call upon Krishna. Is to call upon Krishna. So everyone raise your hand and chant 2 words after me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Louder. Let's penetrate the ethereal region in the sky. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
What's your name? What's your name? Anandini. Come here. Come. This is for you. So I'm doing a transcendental business with you. I gave it a garland in exchange for something else. Is that okay? Stand on the chair. Can everyone get Anandini's darshan? Anandini chant 2 words at a time for everyone loudly. And so if you fall, you follow me. Say,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Raise your hand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Anandini ki. Srila Prabhupada said, even a child can chant. But usually when you grow up, you become stubborn. Become? Everyone raise your hand. And I'm not going to point at you that you didn't chant yet. Please raise your hand, everyone, not halfway. This is Bhaktaram Yagyatapasam. You are accepting in your heart that Krishna is there for me. Raise your hand. Hi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anandini. Okay. Now, you see earlier on, Kadama Muni Prabhu spoke to you. Right? And he was expressing that when he was a 12-year-old boy, he was walking past him. Right, Lakshmi? Right, Lakshmi? Right? He was walking past him. So now, Kadama Muni Prabhu, he may have a sense that he is Christian. See? But nobody told him that he's not this body. See? Because you see, if Kadama Muni Prabhu is feeling hungry, does he feel Christian hunger? Yes or no? Yeah, it sounds like stupid and silly. It's like somebody must be buggler, crazy. I'm feeling hunger the Christian way. And somebody sees me and they say, I heard you come from South Africa, but you don't look African. I said, what's wrong with you? You want me to look African? If the sun is shining on my head, do I feel African sunshine? And somebody is saying, I am female. I am? So when I pinch you, I wouldn't do that. But just for the experiment. When you feel somebody pinching you, oh, I feel pain the female way. So these are like, bodily designations, male, female, young, old, African, Indian, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Jew, atheist, Buddhist, dog, cat, bird. It's like the designations of something that is temporary. See? It is temporary. And if I ask somebody, I'm a Muslim. Okay, you're a Muslim. You feeling hungry? Yes. You feel Muslim hunger? No. So like hunger and the heat of the sun, heat and light of the sun, or pain, has nothing to do with being Hindu, Christian, Muslim, or Jew. It has nothing to do with being African, Indian, or Chinese, or yellow, or white, or whatever, you know. There's nothing to do with that. And yes, a most fortunate soul, you know, Kadama Mani Prabhu, 12 years of age. 12 years of age. And what just attracted him? And what he does in the subway, as you wonderfully explained, right? What he does in the subway? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one attracts the personification of peace into the deep recesses of the heart. And that peaceful condition internally, no amount of sense pleasure, no amount of material wealth, no amount of power or influence can buy. Nothing can buy that. In fact, the more power, the more influence, and the more wealth you have, you are less and less peaceful. You can't even sleep at night. So therefore it is very important to attract this internal peaceful condition. And when one receives that peaceful condition internally, just like Kadama Muni, he didn't need to separately be known, you know, I am not an African. He didn't need to be said that. He didn't need to be told, oh, I am not male or female. He didn't need to be told I am spirit soul. Just by chanting Hare Krishna, automatically you are the spirit soul. We don't need to separately endeavor for philosophy and deep spiritual realization to understand that you're spirit soul. It simply comes by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Automatically that is there. So this is such a deep, compassionate mercy and such deep divine grace, of His divine grace, A.C. Bhakti Swami has given us that people from any cultural, any religious background, people from all walks of life, whether it's an indigenous, a baby girl, whether it's an adult or whether it's an elderly person, like our mother Indira was mercifully in our midst here, anyone can become part of this Achyuta Gotra. Prabhupada says this in one Prabhupada in Bhagavat. Come to the family of the Achyuta Gotra, the family of that personality who never fails and who never falls, Achyuta Gotra, the family of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Krishna was also known as Achyuta. Now I mentioned earlier on that I want to read you one verse when I have to get his names again. Surottama and Raja? Brajaseva. So, getting old. So Brajaseva and Surottama Prabhu. I want to show you that how Prabhupada says that they practically gave the youth and young adulthood to spread this Krishna consciousness around, like so many of all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and grand disciples in the early days. So I want to read something from you from the Bhagavad Gita about this. But this particular purport is a little more than what they have done. Because the spirit purport speaks about somebody who was a regular sannyasi in terms of not having the sannyas dress, but they are a little bit more than that. Okay, so while I look for this verse from chapter 18. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna is kind and founder. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, entitled The Perfection of Renunciation. Text number 11. The verse. Nahi deha brityasakya tyaktu karmani asheshata yastu karma phala tyagi satyagitya vidiyate. So this is a summary also of several verses in chapter 3 which I was requested to read about earlier. And the translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Sri Bhakti Swami Prabhupada. The translation, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation, it is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. But he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who is truly renounced. Purport. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, he who works for Krishna, who does not enjoy the fruit of results, like our Lakshmi, Prabhu here, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. It is clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruits should be renounced. So the So the consciousness of sannyas is more important than the dress of sannyas. So here we find our two nice devotees here, Raja Lakshmi. Got it? Brajasena. Oh, Lakshmi is the princess of the home. I know. Brajasena. Right? And Sarva? Surotama. Okay. I didn't reinitiate him. Surotama Prabhu and Brajasena. You could find that, they gave the youth and young here to establish Krishna consciousness, especially in Caracas and other places, possibly, if I get to know later. So they didn't really work in some office or something. They're missionaries. Yeah? Missionaries. And still, even today, Surottama got it right. Surottama, right? Got it right. Even now, he's distributing Bhagavad Gita.
By Lakshmi's grace.
By his brother's Lakshmi's grace. It required the Lakshmi to get the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So in other words, you could see that everyone can have the right to the ecstasy of giving Krishna consciousness to others. And everyone has the right to receive peace internally in their hearts. And both ways. Srila Prabhupada, he summarized the Krishna consciousness movement. So one disciple of Srila Prabhupada was called, Srila Prabhupada named him Vishal Das. Of course, he named his wife Vishalini Das. You may know him, he lives in Vrindavan. So Vishal Prabhu, he is very bold. It doesn't bother him, there's the secretary and then the servant, he just goes through. And he comes to Srila Prabhupada. And the servant runs and comes behind him. Srila Prabhupada, I told him you're busy, Don't worry, it's okay. Vishal, What do you want? So Srila Prabhupada, so he said, Srila Prabhupada, I have some questions. Okay. So he told Srila Prabhupada, can you describe the behavior and activity of a devotee? Can you describe what we should be doing in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Can you describe it very, very briefly? Srila Prabhupada immediately said, yes. And he said it in 6 words. Chant Hare Krishna, spread Hare Krishna. That sums up everything. It sums up everything. So today there was a wonderful procession also. Right? Chant Hare Krishna, spread Hare Krishna. And it entered into this beautiful premises. What we are doing? Chant Hare Krishna, spread Hare Krishna. And these wonderful devotees are distributing Bhagavad Gita. That is also part of spreading Hare Krishna. Through the medium of book distribution, to the medium of prasadam distribution. We have a feast here today. Gupta, what is the menu? Gupta Prabhu.
Chana, aloo with curds.
Okay. One is chana, aloo with curds, then
Pumpkin.
pumpkin 2,
Mango.
mango 3,
Curry and biryani rice.
and some flavored rice 4. Yeah, 4.
And baigan and baigan and aloo fried.
Okay, bacon fried. 5. What else?
Roti.
Roti 6. What else?
Soft drink and water.
Soft drinking water 7. Where's the sweet? Gupta, where's the sweet?
In my pocket.
Gupta Prabhu. There's enough Lakshmi here. Where's the sweet? Okay. All right. But that's a nice feast, huh? You know, those days, he was like, they were begging money to feed the devotees in Kerala. Right? And just see how far we have come. So we should savor, we should relish every bit, just like that khichdi every day they should eat in Kerala, maybe, right? Whatever vegetables, put it in some rice and make khichdi. And then every bit was savored. Such an important thing. Thank you, that's a nice menu for today. Amazing menu. Good. Now, do I need to take some questions, or we can continue with the program? I don't mind if you want to continue with the next what you want to do, RT, or then this facade, what's next?
After you finish, we have RT now.
I've completed, but if somebody wants to say something or give a comment or ask a question, you're welcome. That's part of our presentation, that if you want to clarify something, you're welcome to do so.
Are you not confident?
Let me get the name right. Sarva Uttama, right? 2 words, right? Sarva Uttama. Sara Uttama. Sarottama. So Sarottama is name of Prabhu. Yeah, Sarottama. So Sarottama Prabhu is asking a question. He said, are you African? Hey Maharaj, he's Maharaj. Can you answer his question for me?
The Prabhupada said Indian, African, Chinese, black, white, wearing skirt, so Brahmasi.
Are you pleased with his answer?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. But when I go for immigration, I say, no, so you have to write something on that paper, That's a little different. But eternally, we don't belong to this material world. Eternally, we should be spiritual, and we should be chanting Hare Krishna and stay as one eternal family in the family of Shri Radha and Gopinath. We thank you very much for allowing me to be of some service, and I'm glad I was hearing from both of you also earlier today. It was wonderful to hear your experiences and realizations in Krishna consciousness. So over to Bhakti Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki